Hey everyone, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my review of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Directed by Rian Johnson, who's directed great films like Brick, Looper, The First Knives Out, and even The Last Jedi. Please don't kill me for that last one.
Move this man!
Before I break down the good and the bad, let's get into the premise. Billionaire Miles Braun, played by Edward Norton, invites his friends for a getaway on his private Greek island. When someone turns up dead, Detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, is put on the case. This Onion is rated PG-13 for some bloody images, violence, and thematic elements. Let's get into the good. Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, a sequel to the first Knives Out film that was a breakout hit in 2019, is bigger, more layered, funnier, and way more fun than the first Knives Out. And I love that first movie, and I think this one went up another notch. The sequel sees Benoit Blanc returning in this sequel, being invited to a mysterious party in a mysterious way for a tech billionaire's murder mystery party. He has no idea why he's gotten into this situation, but he's glad to get something interesting since the last movie, since nothing really happened in between. And we get to see a little bit more of Benoit Blanc's personal life, not a lot more, but enough more to color in the type of person he is and what his motivations are. We get to see who his partner is in his life and who he lives with, and some of his friends and the funny things he does. And when he gets to the island and starts joining these really rich, snobby people, you can see he's totally out of his element. Even though he's kind of famous for being a detective, to being a sleuth, he's not used to being around all this money and the way these billionaires live their lives. He thinks it's a little bit ridiculous and extending themselves, so he's a little bit uncomfortable. And it was fun seeing him interact with all those things, especially since for me, like I'm nowhere near a billionaire, so I feel like I would react the same way to someone having a car on a tower while he lives on the beach because the car can't drive on the beach. Something ridiculous like that. Starts out as a fun murder mystery. The tech billionaire, played by Edward Norton, named Miles Braun, he's supposed to be getting fake murdered, and his friends are all there, played by some wonderful actors and actresses, are supposed to figure it out. But what turns out from a fun party goes into a real murder mystery when someone turns up dead. And the way the story is, it feels like an onion. I see why they call this Glass Onion, where as the movie goes, it peels back a layer and a layer and a layer, and there's a bunch of twists and turns within that layer that will keep you guessing what's going on. And the film's plot points and themes and the things that it pokes fun at has a lot of references of things that's going on today and what's relevant without pushing it in your face. And I really enjoyed the caricatures that they had of certain characters and certain people, and some of the things that they touched on about the 1% and how they live and how they see people who are not the 1%, and the things that they will do that may affect the world, but they don't think about that at all. They just want the glory. I thought all those things was really great, and how that was wrapped up in this murder mystery that kept me very engaged and very interested at all times. While you're trying to figure out this murder mystery, each character has their own motivations, very colorful characterizations. Everyone's going to have a favorite. Everyone's favorite is going to be different. That's how great and colorful all these characters are. It's really crazy as you go through the movie, there's a certain point you get where they start recounting events that you've already saw, but from a different perspective that really makes you rethink everything and really helps the rewatchability of this movie. You want to kind of pick out different things every time you watch it because of that moment. Standout characters, Daniel Craig does a fantastic job like he did in the first one, but even here he gets more to do. He's on screen a lot more. The focus is on him and it's a little bit of his personal life, but also him being an actual detective. I feel like the first one we did get to see that, but it was not as much as it was in this movie. And you see why he's so renowned and why he's so brilliant, and how he put things together as the movie goes together was really, really great. And someone he interacted with a lot and bounced off was Janelle Monáe, who is the new Ana de Armas. Like the way Ana de Armas was the focus in that movie, and it was kind of like a breakout role for her. I think Janelle Monáe is gonna really do well in a lot of people's eyes in this. I think she did a fantastic job of playing this complex character that Rian Johnson wrote for her, and it asks her to do a lot in terms of acting and doing a lot of different things with accents and personality. And I think she knocked it out of the park for the most part. Plays Andy, a scorned former partner of the Czech billionaire that's having this party, and she has her own motivations of why she's there and what she's doing there, and her backstory, their interactions is kind of the core of the problem in the film. And Janelle Monáe does a really good job of making you empathize and sympathize with her situation and what happened. Edward Norton did a banging job as Miles Braun, this tech billionaire who seems so aloof and so disconnected from the real world and only cares about his thoughts and not what everyone else feels, and just will trample over anyone to get where he feels he needs to, and keeps you attached to him because he can use you and not because you're really his friend. If you don't have a use, you shouldn't be around him. Things like that was what he played with a lot, and he did really, really well. It made me really believe in this character. And Edward Norton's a fantastic actor, so you know that he was going to do a great job. And I just wanted to give a shout out because I really enjoyed his character. He was funny, he was very engaging, and he really kept the momentum going a lot of times when Daniel Craig or Janelle Monáe wasn't on screen. The rest of the supporting cast is really, really great. It's a mix of really well-known actors and some newcomers who I've never seen before, and they all get very different characters and do all play them to pitch perfection. If these different actors played these roles, they might have gone too campy, too crazy, or played it too subtle, but I feel like every character was done about just right. And I want to really shout out Kate Hudson, who did a great job as Birdie Jane. And she was this character who was this former washed up supermodel who's hanging on Miles Braun for some glory. And she did a really good job playing this ditzy, kind of aloof as well character that could kind of really cringe and really annoying if anyone else did it. And Rian Johnson really made Kate Hudson look like a supermodel. She made her look fantastic. This particular scene in the movie where everybody's at the pool and she makes her entrance, and I was like, damn! With all the technical aspects, Rian Johnson does a bang-up job where leveling up this movie to a point where it feels bigger. It feels like a bigger sequel, like they got a bigger budget, but not going so far that, you know, it just doesn't feel like the same kind of movie. It's the core is still there, but I think it's more a more clever script, more engaging, more fun, and a lot of things that we really liked about the first one, the weirdness, the kookiness, he is strung throughout the movie, and you could tell that him and Daniel Craig have gotten really comfortable with this story. From the bigger budget in terms of different set pieces, different locations. It's not just in one spot all the time in the movie, and what they're going for with the themes and how big everything feels and how like there's bigger stakes at hand in the movie. I think he did a great job tying all those things together with really, really great writing, really, really great direction, and this is probably his best directing job he's done so far. Really reining in these actors and making sure they don't go over the top, but also putting them in the best light that he possibly can. Helping this complex story in writing and directing is sweeping camera shots, the beautiful cinematography, the set design. It looks really great. It looks like billionaires own it. The way the characters are dressed are really great, and the music is really good as well. It's really solid. So all around, it's a really well-crafted movie. Let's talk about the bad. So I feel like with the third act, that's where most of the problems for the movie is. I feel like there's a moment in the movie where it's supposed to be this cathartic feeling after a lot of the mystery and the craziness, and who you figure out who's the actual killer and the murderer and what their scheme is. We're supposed to get this cathartic moment, and I felt like it kind of dragged on a little bit, and the performances didn't give me that hoorah feeling. I understood what they were going for, but I don't think it was executed perfectly like how the rest of the movie was. going bigger in this movie. There is some use of CGI and VFX in that third act that maybe didn't need to be. He didn't maybe even go that big with the movie. I'm still glad that it was still entertaining. It makes us feel like a theatrical experience. But the CGI and VFX was kind of noticeable. There was some fire VFX and even like a car where you could kind of tell it was fake. It pulled me out a little bit out of the movie, but for the most part, it wasn't a huge issue. But it's definitely something I noticed. Let's get into my verdict. So Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery is a Netflix film. They bought the franchise. They greenlight number 2. They're already doing a number 3, which I'm excited for. And this is a movie that's going to end up on Netflix on Christmas. But I really wish that they gave this movie a theatrical run because it is a movie that you should see in the theaters. The theater I went to go see this in was packed with people, and we all had a really fun time. Everyone was laughing at the right parts. Everyone was gasping at the right parts. Everybody was fully engaged and quiet at the right parts. And I feel like it's a really fun ride for you and your friends to go to. Unfortunately, this was going to only be in the theaters for a week, and by the time this review comes out, most likely it's going to be out of theaters. There's a rumor it might get another week, and if it does, definitely check it out. I know it's going to be on Netflix, but it is a really fun theater experience. It is one of the best movies I've seen all year. I think for people who like murder mysteries, and we've been getting a lot of those lately and some quality ones, but one that's really well written, keeps you guessing with twists and turns, great characters that are funny. Even if you don't like all of them, you will appreciate the hilarity in some of them, and something that doesn't waste your time. You should definitely go check this out if you get a chance to see it in the theaters. But if you don't, or if you feel like I'm not watching a Netflix movie in theaters, definitely check it out when it comes out on Netflix. If you didn't see the first Knives Out, you don't have to check it out to see this one. It's a sequel, but it's not connected to that one so directly that you'll be lost. So you can definitely just check this out on your own if you didn't see the first Knives Out. But with that said, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's one of the best films of the year, and I'm going to give it an A. Have you seen Glass Onion, a Knives Out Mystery? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? And if you haven't seen it, based on my review, do you feel like this is something you're going to check out or you're going to pass on? Drop all those comments down below. Let me know. Like the video if you like my review. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, and ranking lists. And you can check out all my socials in the description and the pinned comment section. And you can watch more of my content right now.